How do you go to a play party with a partner? What do you need to consider before you go and while you're at the event, maybe even after? I'm here with Reed Mahalka from readaboutssex.com.
Kathy Bartoli from theintimacydojo.com.
Yeah. So if you're going with a partner, what are things that you want to...
You should tell them beforehand that you're going to an orgy.
Well, what if they're going with you?
I mean, yeah, but like you should tell them that, honey, we're going to an orgy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
don't surprise them. Don't
blindfold them and lock them in.
Don't do it unless they're really into surprises.
Yes. So you tell them we're going beforehand.
Yeah. Okay.
What kind of boundaries is important to set?
I don't know. Depends on the people, I guess, right? Like everyone's going to have, the lesson is that everyone's going to have different needs, different wants, different desires. Yeah. Some people have, get excited by taking risks. Some people risks totally kills their boners.
And different people have different boundaries. So I've had couples come, they're allowed to play with anybody they want, but they can't kiss each other. Or they're allowed to play with some friends or certain negotiated partners, but nobody else.
Or they can only play together if they're involved with together.
Or I've had one where they were supposed to request permission, like introduce the person to their partner and get permission. And one time they didn't, and so that was like, there was a lot of drama.
Sure.
Because it was like, but I was right there, and no, that wasn't what they agreed. So I've also encouraged couples to have a safe word. To mean not just like to stop the sex, but like I need some space to talk. I need to stop what you're doing may be triggering me, or what's going on may be triggering to me. So just having a word they can use to say, hey, let's take a time out and see where things are at can be useful. What about during the play party? What do you recommend?
I mean, this is such a great question because there's so many different answers, and there's so many things that you wouldn't know to think about or ask about until you find yourself in the middle of the thing where it didn't get talked about or asked about, and how you should have talked about this is one of you's really angry.
Yeah.
Or really jealous, or really, like people don't talk about their surprises that made them feel expansive and amazing. And oh my goodness, when my wife had the gangbang and forgot about me for 2 hours, I felt cut loose and free, and I was expansive. I had this compersion feeling for her,
that's not usually
and I merged and became one with the universe. No, that's not how we remember the shit that sucks, and that we get angry about. So, one, big picture, have the conversation, if you can, about how will we handle when the unknown shows up that we didn't know how to prepare for, right? Like learning curve moment. Honey, we didn't think to talk about the thing. Got it. So can you, and maybe you go see a therapist together or something like that to anchor this, but like, or there's also some great relationship communication workshops and things like that. But like, how do you anchor that as your default? The world is not falling apart. We just got delivered new evidence that we forgot to talk about something, right? Because that would be really useful for anyone going to a play party event. It's also a useful relationship skill set in your life to begin with. Working from there, or working around it, right? Because like building out from the unknown. The way that I talk about it in some of my workshops is, what do you need to feel physically safe, like around health? What do you need to feel emotionally safe around, if you have trauma or triggers, or you're somebody who wrestles with jealousy, or you feel like your relationship's on the rocks because you've been monogamous for so long. So you're going to try to explore play parties, but the relationship's already on the rocks, and now we're going to try non-monogamy, like emotionally safe. And then there's the other piece that I would talk about, which is kind of like, what do you need to feel heart safe, or like woo-woo safe, like your spirit, your soul, the bigger esoteric picture. being able to have a conversation with your partner or your friend if you're going together to a play party, like about those three things. If you can't have a conversation about those things, that's a really good indication that maybe it's too soon to go to a play party.
Yeah, definitely. And just even having a conversation about what would make each of you feel good. Is it like, are you going to spend the entire evening together, or like sharing your expectations, and like, can you describe what it looks like? How does the evening look like to you? Because all of a sudden you're hearing things you might not have thought to ask. It's like, oh, we spend the entire evening going from, maybe playing, but we're playing together. Or once an hour you check in with me and make sure that I'm feeling okay. Like, or you tell me if you're going to leave without me. Like, different people have different needs.
Usually don't leave with the people. Like, don't leave people abandoned there.
Unless you have that agreement.
Unless that's your agreement.
Yeah.
Exactly. And understanding that situations will come up, like the candy in the candy store, where people... I think it's human nature to have stuff happen where people just lose their minds.
Yeah.
I'm not condoning it, but it is a human thing for us to get so fixated on something, especially in something that's very new. We can think it's cute when our kids do it, but however, around sex and around play parties, we can get very upset when our partners do it. It's not to condone bad behavior. It's that you are exploring things that some people have been very repressed on.
Yeah.
And you won't think about everything in advance,
it's
right?
Kind of like you're climbing the Himalayas. Like, you have to. It's more likely there's going to be slips and falls, than if you're walking in the park.
Yeah. What you have said before, which I think is great advice, other people who've gone to play parties have said this is good advice, is if you're going to your first play party with your partner, a really great rule for the first play party or the first couple is that you're going to go and you're going to watch. And if you're going to play at all, it is only going to be with each other. And to understand that you will be tempted to change that rule. Do not change it at your first play party. Change it, adjust it for the next play party. And if your partner isn't on the same page, when you suggest it, like, hey, honey, I think the next time we should play with other people. That look there. That means it's too soon to change the rule.
Yeah.
Don't change it yet. Be like, okay, let's go to the next play party. And again, just watch. Just play with each other if that's all we're going to do. Because ultimately, if you want to be playing with other people, this isn't going to be the case every time. So I might be giving you bad advice. But I think when it is best appropriate to play with other people is when you said that, your partner did the face, you're like, honey, let's not do that. It's too soon. The appropriate time to play with other people is when they are like, honey, I think we should play with other people. And you're like, dear, remember that I did mention that a couple of play parties ago.
Yeah, but that wasn't ready then. But now, I'll see you later.
Well, you know what? Let's go to one more play party and only play with each other. Because, watch what I do here. Because this relationship is really important to me and I don't want to screw it up. Because here's the deal. You're going to think that the world is ending.
Yeah. Because you're not getting the thing that you hope to have.
And that's a weird scarcity thing, but it's not just the thing that hope to have. It's you didn't realize chocolate-covered, cream-filled eclairs even existed. And now they're right there. And people lose their minds. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like slowing it down until you're both on the same page. And again, there are times when you can push the envelope, but when in doubt, and when you don't have a coach or a therapist helping you, don't push the envelope. I just think you'll get better results if you slow it down.
Yeah, take it slower rather than pushing
And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And that's a very complex oversimplification of advice, but I think the
It's really
core
good
of it is
advice.
useful.
Yeah.
It's the dynamic that's hard to remember
Mm-hmm.
when you're the one who wants to eclair.
Yeah.
So there.
It's well, yeah, when all of a sudden the other person wants to declare, it's like, oh. And then aftercare, it's really good to check in with each other, figure out how you both kind of wind down after an event, what you need the next day. Some people have con drop, they have an experience afterwards, or needing some support a day or two after.
Do you have a video about aftercare?
We do have a video about
There you go.
aftercare.
Done. Handled already.
So,
Follow you guys.
so just check in with each other and make sure things are good. Thanks very much.
Good job. Don't give up.